And we are rolling on May 26th at UCLA. It's a beautiful sunny day. The sunshine is shining. Flowers are out. Nice. And we're about to hear about a personal commitment from Paola, followed by some persuasive speeches.
Persuasive? Oh, sorry. That's good. Hi everyone, I'm Paola.
Hi, Paola.
Not too long ago, I was standing next to my roommate, staring out into the city, when she suddenly asked me a question I had never given much thought to. She asked me what I thought the key to happiness was. Dumbfounded, I didn't know how to answer, and I asked her instead, what do you think it is? She told me that she believed it was being at peace with the decisions you make and how you live your life. Class, today I'm going to tell you about my commitment to be at peace, to being at peace with my decisions, my life, and myself in general. Today, I'll share with you 2 reasons why I'm going to be personally committed to this, and 3 actions I've taken to show my commitment. So after this event, I gave much thought to it, and I realized that I'm not sure if it is the key to happiness, but I do realize that being at peace with most things is a key element to happiness in general. But that's why I've decided to completely devote myself to being at peace, because I believe I'll live a more fulfilling life this way. First reason why I've decided to personally commit myself to being at peace is because I recently got out of a very emotionally and mentally abusive relationship where the guy didn't care about anything about me really. He didn't care about how I was doing or any of the concerns I had or anything. He would just turn his back to me. And I put up with it for a long time because he made me feel really crazy and irrational about it. And so I always thought he was right and I was wrong. And it wasn't until much later that I realized what was really happening. So this experience ultimately made me feel really worthless, paranoid, and insufficient. And so I decided that I was never going to let myself feel that way again because of another person. So that's the first reason. The second reason I'm personally committed to being at peace is because I'm a very anxious person who gets very nervous. And when I do get very anxious, nervous, and stressed, I have panic attacks. And when I have panic attacks, it makes everything worse. And I just want to go home and just crawl into this bubble where I don't talk to anybody and ignore civilization. And this happened a lot fall quarter, and it prevented me from forming friendships and going out and wanting to explore. And I was always very moody, irritable, rude. It was a very horrible combination, and I don't want to repeat that ever again. And also don't want to let life pass me by because I'm stuck in this bubble, because I'm afraid and worried and anxious. So that's the second reason. So third, I'll tell you about some actions that I've taken to show my commitment. First, I took out all the negative people that negatively affect my life, such as my ex-boyfriend, some family members, and some friends, unfortunately, because at the end of the day, they were doing more harm than good. Second, I allowed someone new into my heart, who is much better and much nicer. And third, I've allowed myself to kind of enjoy my surroundings every day, really take the time to appreciate the people in my life, myself, and just everything. And I really make it a point to kind of do things that I like scrapbooking or watching my favorite TV shows or anything like that, gardening, to kind of keep myself at peace. So fourth, I'll tell you about how all these actions made me feel after I completed them. I felt very tranquil, at ease, and I was happy about where I was in life and what I was doing and how I was living. So I felt much better overall. In summary, I've told you about 2 reasons why I'm personally committed to this, and 3 actions I've taken to show my commitment. In conclusion, there should be no doubt in this room that I'm really personally committed to being at peace with myself, my decisions in life, the people and things I surround myself with. So to tie it back, I'm not really sure if being at peace is the key to happiness, like the one ultimate key to happiness, but I do know that it does contribute to, it is a main contributor to happiness, and so I will continue to follow that and strive for that. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's start on this side today. Hi, Olivia.
I think your speech was really wonderful. I really like you kept the theme all the way through, I think, and you really tied it together with your introduction and your reasons. I thought it was a very cohesive speech.
Thank you.
It's very good.
Thank you.
Improvement?
Hi, I'm Aneshka. I thought your speech was great. It was really honest throughout, which is hard to maintain. But as an improvement, I would say maybe just speak a little louder and more emphatically, because I think you're still a little bit nervous and reserved, and I'm like that too, so yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, those are good comments. Well, I thought you got the personal part of the personal commitment. You shared personal stories, which I liked very much. You opened with sort of the universal question that all of us as human beings ponder at one time or another: what's the key to happiness? Your friend answered peace, and you thought that was a pretty good starting point. I think that that was a good intro, and you drew back to it at the end, and so that showed me that you understood the concept of the bookends. Your thesis was fine. Your sixth statement was not fine. Tell me what a sixth statement is, Paola.
Something that outlines your speech.
Wrong. Okay. So I'm glad we're learning something today. A sixth statement is, remember, you're telling the audience why your speech is significant to them. And what you did was say why it was significant to you and kind of gave a little bit of an extra preview. And it would have sounded something like, I know these are ideals and things that all of us have grappled with, and I think you'll be interested in some of the conclusions that I've come up with, and maybe there'll be answers for you. Okay? On your main body, you shared with us your first reason was that you were in a rotten relationship with some loser, and who treated you poorly and abused you emotionally, etc. And thank you for having the courage to share that. And I admire you for having the courage to get out of it when you know this isn't healthy. And sometimes it takes a while, but you did the right thing. The second reason that you gave was that your panic attacks and how your modus operandi is to withdraw and to go into a cocoon and to be moody and nasty and irritable toward people. Yeah, so that was honest and personally revealing, which was what I wanted in the speech. So that was authentic. Thank you. On the actions you've taken, you got rid of the loser, you got a new friend, and you got rid of negative people in your life, and also you are just taking the time to enjoy life and smell the roses, I guess is the cliche way to put it, right? Yeah. I like that you had the fourth point of that, how you feel now that you've changed and taken a new course of action. Summary was fine, your conclusion was fine, and your tie back was fine. Your canais, speak louder, have wider vocal variety, and relay my thoughts more confidently. How did that go?
Still think I could have spoken louder.
Yes. So how are we going to accomplish that, Paola?
More practice.
Practice aloud with a person that you say, that's my goal, and they're going to have to yell out from the peanut gallery, louder! Right? You're going to have to almost yell. And sometimes you'll be yelling, sometimes you'll speak softer, sometimes you'll speak faster, sometimes you'll speak slower. Because you want an interesting delivery. And a monotone, the same all the time, can lure people to sleep. I would like to see you add as your goal for your final speech to better eye contact of the 5-second range. When you walked a little far, and I thought when you're way over there, you kind of cut them off a bit. And when you're over there working this side of the room, still glance over at Olivia and go, oh, hi, Olivia. You know, and so don't blow them off when you're working that side of the room. Other than that, nice job. Okay, that will bring us to, we're on the, which letter now?
D.
The big D, yes. Let's see about, should I call him Lauren Yee again just for a laugh? Yeah, okay. Yeah. Let's start with Pratik. You have 7 minutes.
Yeah. I don't have my self-evaluation there.
What a tragedy.
Yeah, I'll get it.
Okay, you'll get that to me. I see you have your bibliography, APA style. Good. Okay. Give me a moment. Okay. Yeah, so back just a touch, yeah, thanks. Pratik stands before you managing attention, saying to himself, I respect my audience. Communicating respect non-verbally, finding friendly eyes near the front and the center. Say your name, feel the love, start your speech.
Hi everyone, I'm Pratik.
Hi Pratik.
This is a rather lazy morning because I've not been like my 100%. So I think this is like the perfect time to say this. So zombie apocalypse is probably one of the best creation of science fiction that has marveled people for like decades. Whether it be in the form of stories in books or whether it be in movies. Like people have just been fascinated by this idea of a cataclysmic event just wiping off like most of humanity, leaving like these very few people to like fight for survival and fight for their lives. I'm not going to persuade you all to become part of a zombie apocalypse or anything, but what I want to try to get at is that we actually live in a world where like it's similar to a zombie apocalypse, whereby there's like this minority and there's this majority. A minority in the way that, you know, there's only a few people in today's world that are actually engrossed in the social or like political issues that are like happening around the world. Whereas like most of the people, they know about these issues, but they just do not want to do anything about it. And for me, that I find that extremely problematic. So today I want to persuade you all to join the world of debate. And not only debate as a competitive sport, but also in the form of discussion, or just like, you know, talking with your friends for that matter. I'm going to give you 2 reasons as to why all of you should get involved in debate, and 3 concrete actions that all of you can take to get yourself involved. we live in a community which is so diverse and so like full of different people, and I think that UCLA itself is like a symbolical representation of that. The fact that we have different cultural clubs, the fact that we have different people from different walks of life itself shows, the kind of diversity that we have. But despite having that, diversity, we also have like a very variety of like issues that also come with it. And unfortunately, like the UCLA community is not as involved as they should be within like these, these issues. There's only like a few people who are like actually involved. And in order to, like, although these like issues might not affect you all personally, it still affects the community that we all study and live in. And I think that it's important to get involved in this, in these issues, just to understand our community better, to get, why these issues are there and how we can resolve them. So the first reason that I want you all to join this world of debate is because debate has the ability to like help people get a wide variety of knowledge in the first place. And my support for this is actually the research that has been done by the Qatar Debate Foundation. The research that they conducted actually showcased that people who actually get involved in debate actually have a greater understanding of like all the issues around the world. And it's not just in terms of the facts and figures that they understand, but it's also like that in-depth understanding that they get from these issues, like why this issue has come into place, or like what people have done to resolve it, and what more needs to be done. So like debaters in general have a better understanding of what's going around. And I really feel strongly about this way because as a debater, debating for over 2 years, I personally felt my knowledge base increase. Before I was just a high school kid who was just running around frolicking in like a stadium playing soccer, sorry. But yeah, there's a difference in that. But like after joining debate, I really felt that I was able to like better understand issues around the world and like really get to understand like what the kind of different issues there are and like how I can help people, or for that matter, just get an understanding of that. The second reason that I want you all to join the world of debate is because it will allow you to present your ideas and provide you a platform to present your ideas and actually increase your confidence while you all present those ideas. And my evidence and my support for this is the words of a very celebrated debate coach, the late Alfred Snyder. He stated that wherever you go and whatever you do, you have to take information and shape it into messages that actually influence people. And I could not agree more with that. As I stated previously that we live in a diverse community, everyone has a different way of looking at things. We need to be able to construct our messages and our ideas in such a way that we are actually able to relay it to the people in a much more efficient manner. And again, over like my 2 years of debating, I've learned on how to like construct my ideas much more coherently so that I do not offend anyone, or for that matter, people actually understand what I'm trying to say in the first place. And I think that if people get involved in debate, they'll be able to better do this, and as a result, we'll be able to better talk about issues as opposed to just talking about them on the surface level. So the 3 concrete actions that all of you can take in order to get involved in debate. Like first, you all can probably participate in the UCLA Debate Union, which frequently engages in debates and discussions about issues around the world and within the United States, of course. The second thing all of you can do is definitely join clubs that actually engage in debate. On campus, for instance, Bruin Democrats or Bruin Republicans. I mean, I don't know what your political leaning is, but if you guys just want to get a better understanding of what the issues are, you can all join these clubs. And thirdly, if all of you are not attracted at the clubs or certain things, or if you feel that this is too much work, too much commitment, or they are just plain boring, all of you can just get involved in discussions within classrooms as well. Because a lot of times, classrooms actually try and encourage discussions, but people do not actively participate in those discussions. And I believe that discussing in the classrooms and getting your feet wet there is the best way to start out in debate. And after you've taken all these actions, it will not only increase your knowledge base, but it will also allow you to understand the issues on a much more deeper level. Given the fact that UCLA is such a diverse community, and that tomorrow the world is getting even more globalized, it's important to understand these issues. And I believe that by getting involved in these activities, you can get a better understanding of these issues and understand what's the root cause of these issues in the first place. So today I've talked to you about 2 reasons. In summary, I've talked to you about 2 reasons why you should be more involved in debate, and 3 concrete actions that you all can take. There should be no doubt in this room that all of you should join debate in some form or the other. I talked about the zombie apocalypse previously, and although I'm really scared of zombies, personally I don't like them as much, and I don't like horror movies, all I can say for a fact is that we are almost going towards a world like that where people are actually becoming much more indifferent to what's happening around them. They are just more based on their rudimentary lives and just following this one direction, not caring about what's happening. Nonetheless, there are a few people who are involved, but it's not many as people should be. So in order to prevent this modern day zombie apocalypse, I want to persuade you all, and I hope I've persuaded you all, to join the debate forum. Thank you.
Thank you. 704.
Hi, Paula.
Hi, Paola.
I really liked your speech. I liked your introduction. It really got my attention and really captured it at the beginning. I also really admire your passion towards this. I can tell that you're very passionate about it. And so that made it a little better,
Okay, thank you. Passion will sell. The enthusiasm you have for topic, people quietly say to themselves, my gosh, if this person feels so strongly about it, maybe there is something to it. You weren't in the room, right? Let's go here.
Hi, I'm Catherine.
Hi, Catherine.
I also really liked your speech. I thought it was really fluid, and I thought that you spent just enough time on each topic. Like, it worked really well in terms of like how much time you had. The only thing is that sometimes your time gestures got a little bit distracting, and you would kind of be like up here a little bit, and so it would like cover your face or like this area, and then sometimes you would spend like more time on this area of the room than that area of the room. But besides that, it was really well.
Okay, those are good comments that you should take to heart, Pratik. Good. Let's see, should make people be silent in the hall. Yeah. Okay, you started with the zombie apocalypse, and it was good audience analysis for most people in the room. It's cute and funny and something that the group can relate to, and you tied back to it, and you had a serious point that people in this world of a working democracy, it's frightening if most of them are zombies. And on your thesis preview, was fine. Your SIG statement was pretty good sell. My thought was just in terms of just watch out for you still have a habit of making your introductions long. It took you 2 minutes to get through with your significant statement, and that's quite a while before you get to the meat of your case. On your 2 reasons, you quoted the Qatar Debate Foundation. Does everyone know what that is? And what date was this so-called study or research done? Gives it greater credibility if you cite that and tell them about that. Secondly, there's a lot of other research about debate, increasing critical thinking, confidence, ability to think on one's feet, and there's a lot of research out there, and so I would have looked for more of it. But you did have some evidence that it really enhances people's ability to know something. And my personal view is when you have to say something, you have to kind of know it. And that's why I think when people study in groups and they say things back to each other, there's a great benefit to that of having to say it. That's why I really believe in the oral tradition and the culture of debate and communication and rhetoric. On your second reason, you talked about developing critical thinking skills, and you cited the late Alfred Snyder, one of my heroes, so that was good audience analysis. From the Vermont quarterly.
Oh, yeah, I forgot to mention that.
Yes, and again, when you're making arguments from authority critique, give them authority. So give the citation. Give the date. Yeah, and you, as one of your colleagues pointed out, you gave your feelings to about how your own personal experience validated what Professor Snyder has argued and said would happen if you debate and participate in oral advocacy more. Your actions were consistent with your persuasive intent, although I think you could have been a little bit more specific. You could have said, just go, if you want to know more about debate on campus, go to UCLADebateUnion.com. That's a simple thing to remember. Everyone can remember that and find more information. Or the Comm studies website, something like that. I liked your second one on the Republican Democrats, so you greased both sides of the aisle, so that was good. And I like the idea of just people sort of engaging in a dialectic in their discussion, challenging what other people say in a room, and that's a form of clashing and debating and making some arguments, Now, you had your fourth step, and you linked it to globalism. I would have linked it even stronger to a working democracy depends upon a well-informed group of people, and never has it been more important than what we see happening in this election, and I'll just leave it at that. Your summary was fine, your conclusion and tieback were fine. On your canais, you said reduce hand gestures to ensure the audience is not distracted. Stick to the time limit. Make the movements more fluid and less forced. How'd it go?
The hand gestures part needs to be improved. I did stick with the time limit this time.
Yes.
And yeah, I thought the movement was a little bit more fluid.
Yes. Let me say a few more things just about, just generally about your speaking style and where I think things you can still continue to work on critique. What are you going to do about your hand gestures? You're continually doing this and up in your face and doing that. How are you going to control it? How are you going to become aware of what your hands are doing so much? And I don't want you to pardon me for interrupting.
Right.
I want you to. Some people overdo it and they put their hands behind their back or hold it by their side, and that's an overreaction the other way.
I think just try to forcefully keep my hands to the side and do that as I walk, because if I walk and keep it here, it just seems very awkward.
Yeah, that's not good.
So yeah,
yeah.
I mean, it's like an expressive style. That's what
Okay.
But I'll try to reduce that.
Yeah. You might consider taking a class in Tai Chi so you're aware of what your body's doing when you're walking around, because you seem a little disconnected from your body. I would say, secondly, I'd like to see you develop a range in your emphatic style of delivery so you're a little bit more interesting to listen to. Speak louder, softer, faster, slower. And don't be afraid to not speak, to put in a pause. Drama in your presentation would make you much more effective. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you.
Okay, that will bring us to Catherine Calvert. Hi, Catherine.
Hello.
Well, you need the green meaning, huh?
I do.
Okay.
Makes sense. I got this.
Catherine stands before you, managing attention, communicating respect, finding friendly eyes near the front and the center, saying to herself the mantra, I respect my audience, and really meaning it. Say your name, feel the love, persuade us.
Hi everyone, I'm Kat.
Hi, Kat.
And I would like to start this speech by having everyone stand up.
Stand up for Jesus.
Look around, acknowledge each other, say to yourself, I respect you. Now I would like everyone except the following to sit down. Sarah and Grace. Everyone else sit down. Look around you. According to the, you guys can also sit down. But according to the National Sexual Violence Resource Center, in 2015, this was the proportion of female students who would be sexually assaulted in their 4 years of undergraduate. Now, this is a rape culture. This is why today I'm going to tell you about why you should act out, why you should speak up to end a specific aspect of this, victim blaming. I'll give you 2 reasons why you should not victim blame, 3 actions you can take, and the benefits you will receive from this, not only for yourself, but from many others. As you can see, the statistic is incredibly high, 1 in 5 women and 1 in 16 men. So it is not unlikely that at some point in your 4 years here, someone may come to you, a friend, a teammate, a classmate, and share an experience like this with you. So how will you react? The first reason I want to ask you to not victim blame comes from a personal story. When I was 16 years old, I took my mother to the city where I studied abroad. It was a completely magical place for me. And every night, all the students in the city would go to the beach and have a little party. And on the last night, one of my friends and I went off with some guys we met and put our drinks down. Later on that night, we would realize we had been drugged. One of the guys had picked me up and was walking away with me, telling me things I was going to do to him, though I had no will of my own, when one of my friends saw what was going on and got me out of that situation. Though I remember very little of that night, I was not sexually assaulted. However, when my friend delivered me to my mother, she was so upset that for the first and last time, she would strike one of her children. The next morning, she asked me to cover my body because I had bruises on me from being dragged home. She would make me eat food even though everything made me violently ill. And my parents still to this day tell me to never speak of that night. And when they bring it up, they refer to it as the night I got too drunk. This hurts me more than I can explain. It makes me feel unsupported from the people who are supposed to love and support me unconditionally. It makes me feel invalidated. And it makes me feel at fault. And this reaction is all too common for people who are victims and survivors of sexual abuse and assault. The second reason why I ask you to not victim blame is because it comes from a Huffington Post study that was published in 2015 that said that only 20% of sexual assaults on college campuses are actually reported to Title IX officers and police officers. This is upsetting because it means that only 20% of these cases are even being acknowledged, and even fewer, the abuser and assaulter is actually being punished. This is due to the fact that these reactions marginalize the victims, make them feel like what they have done is wrong, and therefore that they don't need to report what happened. So if we want to end this rape culture that is going on college campuses, these victims need to be able to speak up and report what has happened so that their abusers and assaulters can be punished, and hopefully this can change. Now I'll give you 3 actions you can take, very simple ones. Should someone confide in you about what has happened to them, the first thing you can do, tell them to report it to a police officer or their Title IX officer. Every school has a Title IX officer, and this is their job to deal with these situations. The sooner that more of these instances are reported, the sooner we can start changing things. The second thing you can do is encourage them to seek psychological treatment. Tell them it's not because they're crazy or because they're wrong, but because you are not equipped to deal with some of the psychological issues that may come from this trauma. Only very recently have I started dealing with what happened to me a few years ago, and it's still painful. Now the third thing you can do is the simplest. If someone comes to you, open your arms and say these exact words. It is not your fault. It's the simplest thing you can do, and it's all anyone really needs to hear. Upon taking these actions, you might not feel much, but I can promise you that anyone you are doing this for or saying these words to is feeling supported, is feeling validated, and most importantly, will feel human, which is more than I can say about the reaction they're getting from a lot of other people. Today I have shared with you why you should not victim blame. I've given you 2 reasons why you should not victim blame, and I've given you 3 actions you can take and the many benefits that you and others will receive from taking these actions. The statistic is too high. 1 in 5 women, 1 in 16 men. You've seen the proportion even in this small classroom. So if someone came to you, a classmate, a teammate, a friend, how would you react? Would you blame them because it's comfortable and it's what society enforces? Or would you support them? I would choose the latter, and I hope all you will too. Thank you.
Thank you. 5:51.
Oh, that was short. Dang.
Hi, I really like your speech, Kat.
Say your name.
I'm Jessica. I liked your demeanor the most, I think, because it was very serious, and you the way it's obviously a very heavy topic, and you dealt with it so kindly and comfortingly. But it was you just had a serious demeanor, but it wasn't you were hey, do this. It was just very comforting, but also had just your tone for the speech was just so well placed. Thank you.
Good tone. Could have been bitter, angry, nasty, whatever. Yeah. Interesting observation about improvement.
Hi, I'm Sarah. I was
Hi,
hoping
Sarah.
I would get picked for the improvement. I was hoping we could start from this side. It was really wonderful. Thank you for talking about this. Thank you for talking about it with so much grace and composure. And I've got nothing. It was really, really, really excellent, and I felt it, which was important. Thank you.
Okay. Well, it was a good speech, really good speech, Kat. And I like the way you incorporated your personal experience and that you had the courage to share with all of us your sad experience. So thank you for trusting us and sharing that with us. I like the creative opening of having people stand up and then having to remain standing. That was a very vivid way to illustrate the statistic right out of the stickiness text. So that was excellent. As far as tying back to having them stand up again or something, that probably would have been too corny, but you did make reference to it, so that was fine. So, you talk about us living in a rape culture and don't victim blame, and that was, I thought, a pretty catchy title for what you were trying to accomplish. So in terms of simplicity, you got it down to victim blame. So that was good. Your sixth statement, with statistics being 1 in 5 and 1 in 16, wouldn't have minded hearing where they came from, the Center for Disease Control or something. Give it a little more oomph and credibility. Argument from authority, remember, is what we're learning to do. But still, it was still a good SIG statement. So, let's talk about your first experience. You went to a party, and the part that I didn't get, and I guess it was because your mother blamed you, right? Your parents blamed you for being irresponsible and drinking too much. Is that the story?
Well, if they tell the story, it was that I passed out because I drank too much.
You got drunk and passed out.
Yes.
And
that's how they like to tell the story.
They didn't get the drugging part.
No, they know I got drugged.
But
I was there with two nurses.
But their argument is, if you hadn't been unwisely drinking so much, you wouldn't have been drugged or something. Okay, got it. Okay, now I'm with the program. Yeah. One thing about the story, and all stories like to have a beginning, a middle, and an end, and so in some ways I was wondering whatever happened to the guys that did the drugging and stuff. You don't have to answer this now if it's too personal or whatever.
I have no idea.
They just got away. They walked off into the wild blue yonder, huh? Yeah. But it's useful to not have loose ends in storytelling. You know, people like to know, well, what happened to this, and screenplays and plots and stuff. Your support was your mother and your mother's almost very vivid reaction and that sort of thing, and that sounds like a very negative and bad scene in your family. Yeah, what?
Not a shining moment, is it?
Not a shining moment, yeah. On your second reason of not victim blaming, you cited the Huffington Post. You wrote the Washington Post. So I'm glad you cited the date. So thank you for that. So thank you for giving the statistics argument from authority there. So that was good. The concrete action, Title IX officer, tell the police, psychological treatment, and open your arms and tell people it's not their fault. Yeah, I would agree with that. I would also say, I don't know if I didn't tell the story in this class, and I'm not going to, but this is I don't want to sound like an old fart, but there's evil in the world. There are evil people in the world. And I consider people that put drugs in people's glasses and drug them to be evil. And so, what?
I'm not a fan of them.
Yeah. And so what I say is there's also a responsibility to be cautious and to be aware that, because with walking around with earbuds in and la-di-da and on the phone and not looking around and noticing that there's predators and evil people around in the world is not taking full responsibility for your own safety. Similarly, being excessively drunk, takes away a little bit of your safety ability. Point well taken. Okay. Your summary, your conclusion were all fine and excellent. Your tie back was good. You said you wanted to walk more naturally. Remember the fourth step, and as always, vary your delivery. How did it go?
I think I walked more naturally. I wasn't turning like a
No, you weren't.
figure.
No, that was good.
I remembered my fourth step this time, which was the benefits. because I have forgotten that for every other speech.
I know you did, and that was good, because that sells it one last time. To go, oh, benefits to me, you, to me, to me, to me, because your audience is, whether we like it or not, they're thinking about, what's in this for me, right? On the sticky part of it, I just wondered what you consciously designed into the speech that was unexpected.
I used my personal example to be unexpected.
Okay.
Because I don't think it's very expected that someone's going to stand up and talk about their own personal experience, and then
Fair enough.
my mother's reaction was not really what one would expect a mother to do.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. And I think that your own credibility from telling the story and then citing the Huffington Post and other statistics was very good. I don't think it was too abstract. I will say that I've known some people that have come to me that have gone to the police and to Title IX, and that in itself isn't a altogether pleasant experience, but a necessary one, you know. So you did a good job. Thank you. Okay, let's hear from... Oh, you're next? Okay, yeah, sure. We love volunteers.
It's just a good follow-up, that's why.
Well, you were who I was going to call on. Okay,
perfect.
so praise the Lord. Okay, good. Wait a minute, you're a little taller. Okay, Jessica stands before us, managing attention, communicating respect, saying to herself non-verbally, I respect my audience, finding friendly eyes here in the front of the center. Say your name, feel the love, say your speech.
Hi, I'm Jessica.
Hi, Jessica.
A 13-year-old girl is at home alone. Her next-door neighbor invites her to come over so she no longer has to be alone. After being there for a few minutes, he begins to touch her inappropriately. She asks him to stop. He doesn't, and she tries to get away. He, being much bigger than she is, pins her down and takes full advantage of her. This little girl, trying to find solace in someone so she doesn't have to be alone, is raped. If this 13-year-old girl is to get pregnant, should she have to have a child? Does this child deserve to live the rest of her life with a constant reminder of what has happened to her? Does she deserve to have more trauma put upon her because we tell her she has to? This particular story is fictional, but so many are not. Today I'm going to persuade you to be pro-choice. I'm going to give you 2 reasons you should be pro-choice and some actions and benefits you will take if you follow my proposal. As Kat said, in 2015, the National Sexual Violence Resource Center reported that 1 in 5 women will be sexually assaulted during their years in college. Of the 16 women that are usually in this classroom, that means 3 of us will be sexually assaulted during our years here. What happens if one of us gets pregnant? Or should we be forced to have that child? This affects every single one of us because here we are on a college campus where this can happen to anyone. My first reason you should be pro-choice is that we should be in charge of what we do to our own bodies. Our entire lives we have been told, your body is yours. As Grace spoke about on Tuesday, we get to choose what we put into our bodies. We get to choose what we do to our bodies. I personally have 6 piercings. Other people have tattoos, and all of that is our decision. Gallup reported in May 2016, literally like the 4th through the 8th, like a couple weeks ago, that 19% of this country believes that abortion should be illegal in all circumstances. That means that 19% of this country is trying to tell every woman what she has to do to her body, not only for 9 months, but for the rest of her life. Personally, I think that we should be in charge of our own bodies because the minute we turn 18, that's what we've been told. You have to sign consent forms. When I turned 18, I was super excited to go get my second cartilage piercing. I could have waited or I could have not waited and had my mom come with me and sign the paper like I'd done before, but the point was that I wanted to give consent for it. I wanted to show my ID, say I'm 18, I'm in control of my own body. For if we don't have choice in this country, we are told that we do not have control over our bodies. The second reason you should be pro-choice is that sometimes the circumstances are not ideal. And if you're not in the ideal circumstances, having a child can ruin your life and that child's life. In 2006, the Center for Disease Control reported that 49% of pregnancies are unintended. Yes, this does include the people who are in stable places in their lives and just don't want children, but it also includes the people who cannot support a child. If we are forced to bring children into this world in circumstances that are not perfect, we are also giving that child a life they don't deserve. The reason that I think we should be able to tell if the circumstance is right for us is that I am 18 years old and could not have a child right now. This is my first year living away from home. My room is a mess. I haven't done laundry in God knows how long. Sometimes I forget to eat. I can barely get myself out of bed to be here at noon. That's halfway through the day. If I were to get pregnant right now, I could not support a child. Sometimes before my midterms, I choose to go out with my friends instead of studying. None of this is behavior conducive of someone that should have to take care of another human being. That is why we should be able to choose. Third, I'm going to tell you three actions you can take to be pro-choice. The first is to support other people in their decision. You don't have to believe that abortion is the right choice for you. However, if another woman decides that it is her choice, you support her in that. That is her body, not yours. Second, you can vote pro-choice on legislature. If you don't vote pro-choice, you are saying that you have the right to tell another person what to do with their body. You are not giving them that choice. By voting pro-choice, you are also supporting organizations like Planned Parenthood, who not only have resources for women who do want to get abortions, but also have resources for everyone in so many circumstances. And if we defund that, we're not giving people the resources they may need. Third, you can educate people about what it means to be pro-choice. It does not mean that you support abortion. It means that you believe that everyone has the right to choose for themselves. People are like, oh, you're pro-choice, you hate babies, you're a baby killer. No, it means that everyone can choose for themselves. When you take these actions, you will feel unselfish and non-judgmental. You are saying that you respect every person in this world enough to let them choose. I've told you 2 reasons you should be pro-choice and 3 actions you can take and the benefits you will receive. There should be no doubt in this room that you should be pro-choice. I'm not telling you that you should support abortion. I'm asking you to have the decency as a human being to let everyone choose for themselves. Think back to that 13-year-old girl. What if she was your daughter? Would you want her to suffer through a pregnancy and have a child? I'm asking you to think of other people's circumstances. Who are you to say that everyone should have a child?
Thank you. 604.
I
Lose the hat. Thank you.
I loved your speech. I thought you had a great structure and you followed it and you made sure every point was really clearly and concisely stated and it flowed really well and it captured us.
Who was that?
Hi, I'm Claire.
Hi, Claire.
It's kind of hard to point out an improvement because that actually was really well delivered. Maybe your pacing could be more consistent, and then you could use more deliberate pauses, which is funny because I just didn't do that on purpose. Things like that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, varying your delivery would be helpful. Yeah. You had time. You had 7:15, so you had 1:15 to go. I liked the speech. It was a standard pro-choice speech with a mixture of the good stories of using pathos and this is something I don't know if you knew that I had co-written a screenplay about abortion. So if you go to on the Comm Studies website, there's a link to the movie, and you could watch it and see how I handled this theme. But because it's a little more complicated than you make it, but for purposes of this assignment, you did a good job. Now let's start with your opening. You did a 39-second storytelling of a fictional girl, and that was fine. And you made her young enough that it seemed like a very absurd story. And what's even more absurd is that the pro-life people, some of them, I've heard them say without batting an eye, absolutely. Oh yeah, absolutely. Hold her down. She's got to have the kid, So, your thesis preview is fine. Your significant statement, which you cited 2015 evidence, which you cited the date, and the source, so you had good, credibility for your argument from authority was good about 1 in 5, and you made reference to the class, which I thought was good. So you got high points on your significant statement. You cited as your first reason that people should have control of their own body, and curiously you cited the Gallup poll that 19% of the people didn't agree with you. So I wasn't sure exactly how that supported why they should have control of their own body, except I guess you're saying some people don't want you to have control of your body. Is that the way you're making your argument? Okay. You gave your own example of second cartilage piercing. Pardon my ignorance. What's that mean? Up in your ear there? Oh, yeah. Okay, great. And so you have to be over 18 to do that.
It's just sign for yourself to get any tattoo, piercings. You have to be 18.
Okay. Okay. And so you consider this a moment of liberation, and so this was the reason you felt 18 you were controlling your body, and this is why you feel that everyone should be pro-choice. Okay. The second reason was that unplanned pregnancy, and this is you said that so many 49%, the statistic you gave from the Center for Disease Control, which is a pretty high number, and people can't support or give a proper life to a child for 18 years. There's an excellent article in Freakonomics about what it's meant. The abortion rate is actually low. The high abortion rate that we've had since abortion has become legal has actually lowered the crime rate, because it's lowered many unwanted children coming into the world. I know it's a horrible thing to say and the way to put it, but it's right there in black and white in this econ text. So there's some evidence of this, that an unwanted child is unwanted by the parent and can be a burden to society. So it's a pretty good argument. You talked about your own life and being sort of irresponsible, and you don't do your laundry, and you can't get out of bed, and all this kind of stuff. I wasn't so persuaded by that, but because many of the people who are sympathetic to your side feel that abortion should be legal but really rare, and people should be more responsible and, you know, take a lot more responsibility and not use it as a form of serial birth control, you know. And, you know, pop a Valium and go get vacuumed, you know. I mean, it become as casual as that to some people, which is very sad, you know. Yeah. On your pro-choice actions, they were all consistent with your thesis, and that was good. And your benefits was you're going to feel non-judgmental was good. Your summary, your conclusion, and tie back to the introduction were all fine. You said you wanted to talk slower, emphasize the main points, and walk smoothly. How'd it go?
I definitely talked slower. I think I could have emphasized my main points, like Claire said, to like pause and stuff, which I didn't because I was kind of just like on a thought train, but I was doing it slowly. So
Yeah.
And then I think I walked more smoothly, but.
What was unexpectedly designed into the speech?
Kind of the story at the beginning was just kind of shocking, especially the that girl was raped that day.
Okay.
And then personally, I just find all the statistics extremely unexpected. But
Yeah. Okay. You did a nice job. Thank you. Okay, that'll bring us to... Oh, did you want to go today?
Yeah, I can go.
Praise the Lord. Do we have time? Yeah, we have time. Did I miss any D's? If you want to go the next time, that's fine, or you can do it today. It's up to you.
I can go next time.
Okay. You want to do it next
Yeah,
time?
I can do it next time.
Okay, good. Okay, our work is done. Return with honor.